To beef over beef.
And so bringing in foreign beef, we're concerned about that flooding the market and disadvantaging our beef producers.
A Montana Republican congressman urges President Trump to rethink his proposal on meat imports. Plus, strong words delivered against the school district.
I would very much like to see a teacher who gets physically threatened not permanently reassigned. That's a horrible precedent to set.
The union president warns of a slippery slope and backs a teacher who was reassigned due to a social media post on a private page. And a massive data breach.
So I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of shocked by the amount of the volume of it.
460,000 Montanans could be at risk of having their personal information stolen. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. Montana Congressman Troy Downing is joining a push to protect American ranchers. It comes after President Trump suggested the U.S. could soon buy beef from Argentina. 8 Republican lawmakers, including Downing, signed a letter telling the president about concerns that they're hearing from producers and questioning how the move strengthens American agriculture. Our David J. sat down with Congressman Downing today for his take on that and his concerns if the shutdown continues.
Not understanding what the quality or the safety or how the beef in Argentina is, going to be raised, processed, delivered. So there's a lot of questions. And so we're reaching out to the White House.
Congressman Troy Downing and several others in Congress wrote to the president saying American ranchers should not be undercut by foreign beef imports produced under lower standards. And they asked for full transparency, sound science, and a firm commitment to the U.S. cattle industry.
This came to a head a couple of days ago where President Trump had made what seemed to be an off-the-cuff remark about importing beef from Argentina.
We would buy some beef from Argentina. If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down.
Downing says the U.S. cattle herd has decreased from 2.5 million head to 2.1 million head, and the cattle industry contributes $112 billion to the rural economies. The letter also states the United States maintains the gold standard for food safety and animal health. Any import policy must hold foreign suppliers to those same rigorous standards.
And there's been concerns with our producers about the influx of foreign beef.
Congressman Downing came to Billings and made a stop here at the station. He also talked about the government shutdown, saying the Senate vote has come up short on a continuing resolution similar to what it has passed before.
They voted on it multiple times. That's the thing that is insincere about this. This is something, and here I think it's become political. Chuck Schumer voted for this earlier this Congress.
The country's in a health care crisis unlike we've ever seen. And Donald Trump, instead of leaving the country, or before he leaves the country, should sit down and negotiate with us so we can address this horrible crisis.
Representative Downing says about 80,000 Montanans could lose Affordable Care Act enhanced subsidies. And just like every American, Downing waits.
I'm hoping that we see a quick resolution. My over-under is I'm guessing that we're going to see this by the end of the month.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Well, some help could be coming soon for Montana's farmers and ranchers caught up in the impact of the government shutdown. The USDA says it'll reopen more than 2,000 county offices across the country tomorrow, giving producers access to $3 billion in aid from existing programs. The office in Billings is one of the thousands reopening, performing essential services like processing payments for farmers and assisting with loans. Without the offices, farmers go unpaid, and that's when the trouble starts.
It's bad when farmers and ranchers are going to have to think about showing up to food banks to feed themselves. I don't know if we're quite at that point yet, but it's getting there. People are wondering how they're going to pay for groceries.
U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins said on social media that the USDA employees will be working without pay. Tonight, the teachers union president is backing a Skyview High School teacher who was reassigned by the district. The school district says it was done after an investigation revealed distractions and safety concerns, not as a punishment. However, union president Lance Edward claims it came following a post the teacher made regarding the death of Charlie Kirk on his personal social media page. As our Hannah Pettiferi reports, he believes the actions are a slippery slope and could lead to trouble in the future.
Hearing from the voice of the union tonight. Union President Lance Edward is standing up for a teacher facing a strong reaction.
We disagree with the way that this was handled by the district.
A Skyview teacher was reassigned after he made a social media post on his private account about the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
When you have a free speech issue like this, okay, a teacher who had private comments didn't have any way of anticipating this making its way back to the classroom, right? To have that amplified by people who did want to amplify it and cause disruption.
Edward says we can have professional disagreements and still have professional solutions.
I think maybe there needs to be better procedures and policies put in place. I would like to see that come out of this. And I would very much like to see a teacher who gets physically threatened not permanently reassigned. That's a horrible precedent to set.
And he fears a slippery slope.
When a teacher doesn't cause disruption and others do, for the teacher to be removed, that's hugely problematic. So, if it can be done to one, it can be done to all. We think that invites a lot of trouble into the future, invites anyone to start threatening teachers in the hopes of getting people reassigned. We don't like that at all.
But not everyone feels the same way. Several comments were made on Facebook saying he knew what he was doing as a teacher. He knew something like that would result in consequences. This teacher needs to lose her teaching certificate. Maybe being a teacher, he should have kept his mouth shut. He deserves what he gets. Edward feels this situation is shining a light on the load teachers all over the country are carrying right now.
They go without in lots of ways in order to do something meaningful with their lives, and to be removed from a classroom is incredibly painful. It is not something that's done trivially.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferry, MTN News.
In West Yellowstone, Mayor Jeff McBurney has resigned after backlash from the community over political Facebook posts that he made. The now deleted post contained anti-Trump rhetoric. 5 residents spoke up at a meeting yesterday, with some calling for his resignation. His position is up for re-election this year. The former director of the Centennial Ice Arena has been charged with embezzling nearly $16,000 from the nonprofit, with some payments allegedly going to a Three Forks strip club. The case into 37-year-old Sean Gilmore all started October 11th when Ice Board President Monica Anderson contacted a Yellowstone County deputy after discovering multiple unauthorized transactions on the company's bank account and credit cards. According to court documents, board members handed over multiple documents, including bank statements and a flash drive that contained communications between Gilmore and a woman employed by Teaser's Strip Club. When asked about using the ice arena money for the strip club, he said he was just helping a friend. However, an employee told deputies that he is a regular there who spent a lot of money. He claimed he used most of the funds to pay for groceries and other necessities for his family. If convicted, Gilmore could face up to 10 years in prison. And a Laurel man caught up in a sting operation set up by an online YouTube group now faces 11 charges of sexual abuse. That incident began on August 10th when Laurel dispatchers received a call reporting that a YouTube group called Predator Poachers was at the residence of 27-year-old Tyler Randy Wells. The Texas-based group had been communicating with Wells while posing as a minor, with Wells allegedly sending nude photos in the chats. Well, according to charging documents, when officers arrived, Wells shared his tablet that contained hundreds of photos of partially clothed underage girls, including pornographic images. He also admitted to law enforcement that he is attracted to young children and targeted families he saw online of their children. He pled not guilty to the charges, and his bail was set at $200,000.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the great pictures of the fall colors. It's really been spectacular this year. John caught this one out by the Little Bighorn Battlefield, and Karen didn't have to go too far, just out in the backyard to catch some of the brilliant colors. And so if you have pictures you want to share, great ones like this, just do it. Weather@ktvq.com, or you can use our free downloadable weather app, a great way to be able to share information with us, pictures and videos, and we could tell you about the weather. 65 was the warmest today, 9 degrees above the seasonal average. The winds were much lighter than they were yesterday, and region-wide, while we saw those temperatures move up quickly, they also cooling down quickly. We'll talk about that coming up.
Billings resident Bill Mercer was confirmed today by the Senate as the next judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Montana. Mercer, who graduated from Montana, served as the United States Attorney from 2001 to 2009, also represented Billings in the House of Representatives for 7 years, and worked at the U.S. Department of Justice as well. Montana Senators Steve Daines and Tim Sheehy congratulated Mercer, saying Bill will have a lasting impact on both our state and the nation, and his experience at the U.S. Department of Justice as U.S. Attorney for Montana and as a state legislator have uniquely prepared him for this role. And President Trump has nominated Department of Corrections Director Brian Gutkin to serve as the next U.S. Marshal for the District of Montana. Gutkin led the department since 2021 after more than 2 decades with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, where he worked his way up from patrol deputy to sheriff. Before that, he served in the U.S. Air Force at Malmstrom Air Force Base. If confirmed, Gutkin would become the 41st U.S. Marshal for Montana, responsible for apprehending fugitives, transporting prisoners, and protecting federal courts.